All right, I'm going to show you the brand new Muzix Probability Sequencer system. This is a setup that is based on randomness, but guided randomness. So these are all separate devices. There's actually not that many. Some of those are duplicated. But to start off with, you have to get the core. You set this up, your loop and time signature parameters, and you can wirelessly send clocks to those sequencer boards. Use as many boards and whichever ones as you like. You don't have to use specific ones, but they all behave a little differently. We're going to keep this set at 70 beats per minute, nice and slow. Our loop is set for 16 beats. There's going to be 4 beats per bar. And it looks like our ticks have been subdivided into 8. I'm going to put that down to 4. And this is sending wirelessly the clock to each of these boards. Now, what these boards are doing is they're going to travel along to the beat within the loop. That's what these guys do. Each one of these is a beat. Each one of those is a tick. Tick, 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 beat, tick, 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 beat, tick, 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 just like that. This one is beat with the bars, so beat, 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 bar, beat, 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 bar, beat, 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 if that makes sense. So they travel along the sequencer board at different speeds, at different rates. So that's why you would want to use each of those. But more in depth, if we bring this value all the way up, this on the first hit, it is absolutely going to come out of this one, and it's going to come out at a value of 1, which would be a hard drum hit on a drum machine, like the full velocity. On the next hit, it's got a slight chance, a little bit of a chance of coming out this one, but it's more likely going to come out of this one. In this case, it's not hooked to anything, so these are the times where it's most likely not going to play, but it sometimes might still come out of this one really quiet. And that's how that works. So I've got several of these set up, and I had the help of Mr. Todd in setting some of this stuff up to create a demonstration of how it works. But each of these, just to summarize again, you're changing the probability of which one of these two it's coming out of. The value that comes out of it, it's getting from the actual slider. So in general, stuff coming out of one side is going to be higher than the other, but not necessarily. So the randomness is entirely in which one of these sides is it coming out of. And you can remove the randomness by pulling it all the way down or all the way up and make it so it absolutely is not going to happen. So that's the way you can kind of influence the patterns that you want to set up. And what you can also do is, like, for instance, if this is for a kick, you can have it so when the kick is not firing, it will come out of the other. It's going to come out of one or the other. And so when the kick isn't firing, you could have this go to the snare and you can have that sort of back and forth action between things. And we actually did that with a couple of the instruments down here. These two are taking turns from the same sequencer. So, and there's kind of a little dance that goes back and forth between them. So these are all of the boards, the bar, beat, tick boards. These are all wireless. Again, you can copy these and make as many as you need. These are what I call these SplitRangers. So if you want to add a little bit of randomness to the values that are being sent to things like these or anything that you're working on in general, what these do is these will take that incoming value between 0 and 1. And you're deciding, again, these are just like these based on the Bernoulli block, where you're just setting the probability. Is it more likely going to come out of this side or that side? But when it gets to this side, it's going to be a random number. It's not going to be what came into here. And so you can set up, I want it to more likely come out of this side as a number in that range, or I want it to more likely be this one. And so you can set up things like, let's say for a filter, it sounds really good in this range, it sounds really good in that range, and then you can just adjust the probability of like, well, which filter setting is it going to switch to at that point? And that's how these work. And I have no idea what I just might have messed up for the song here. There's another one, the SplitRanger 2 is similar. Instead of setting min and max values, you set up a target value and then a range of like how much above and below this 0.50. It could be randomly between, 0.12 up or down from our target value there. So again, it's working similar. They basically are doing the same thing, but how you are determining the range is just done in two different ways. So it can just be personal preference, but ultimately the results are a random number within a certain range. It's just these two. This is a copy of that one. For these boards, this one goes by the bar. This one follows ticks. This one, again, beat and ticks. So different speeds, and we're going to see that in action. We're going to hit play, and we're going to watch it go. And that is a demo of the Muzix You probably can't even hear me. That is a sample of the Muzix Probability Sequencer system. These are all free, available in the library. Have fun, tinker around with them, and see what you can come up with. If you want to know how I have these driving the synthesizers real quick, you actually don't need this. Boop. All I did was multiply the signal coming from those by 12, fed it into a scaler, adjusted the root note to match the octave that I wanted. That's it. And we have an avatar of Mr. Todd changing the key of the song. And this is also being randomly controlled by that as well. So we have a constantly evolving song key. This can keep looping indefinitely and never ever sound the same twice. So the point of making this, I wanted a tool. So if you wanted to be tweaking knobs and adjusting sounds, but you wanted like a loop playing, to make changes on this stuff, so you have something that's playing, so you can hear the instrument while you're dialing in your sound. If you don't want to hear the same pattern over and over, this is the tool for that. But it's also an interesting jam tool. So I hope you enjoy.